Konnichiwa, besties, friends, and pretty people of the internet. Today, we are going to be doing something that Kay does quite a lot in his life. Complaining about everything under the sun. I don't know if you can tell by the way that I'm dressed right now. I am channeling my inner Derek Huff, Travis Wall, professional male dancer vibes. And honestly, I don't even know how they do it because this was a pain to put together. We're gonna be talking about the legendary reality TV show, Dance Moms. Now, this show for me was kind of a cultural reset. It's like a car accident. It's a horrible, ugly sight, but you can't stop looking at it. So I thought I'd go ahead and talk about it. Now, just to get the first thing out of the way, let's talk about how Dance Moms is a complete misrepresentation of competitive dance as a whole. The biggest thing that yours truly was very upset about, and I'm sure quite a lot of you could relate on this note, was the lack of diversity
amongst the dance community.
In the original cast of the show, they had 6 girls: Maddie, Chloe, Nia, Brooke, Paige, and Mackenzie. So yeah, there were 6 girls, and amongst that, we only are introduced to one girl that is among the POC minority group, which was Nia. The rest of the girls were white, which of course we all were gonna probably see coming. It was 2011, but the way that all of these girls were treated, especially Nia, it was really disappointing to see that these girls weren't even getting the quote-unquote training that they were supposed to be getting. It was primarily Abby just yelling at them and degrading them about how not talented they were and how their techniques sucked, which, once again, they're not professionals. It's okay to make mistakes. I remember one of my dance teachers from when I was like maybe 12 when I was first starting, they said that you can make as many mistakes as you want until you become an 18 over adult. Once you're an 18 over adult, you have learned all the mistakes that you have made in your technique, and by the time you're 18, your technique is clean enough to the point where you are able to kind of mask some of your flaws and able to showcase yourself in the way that you need to present yourself at an audition, which at the end of the day is what they're working towards all these competitions for. An audition, a performance venue, to be able to show all the training that they've done for the past several years. Now, out of all the girls that were on the show, Nia definitely had it the hardest. I don't think I needn't even say it.
Now, I don't know if I'm tripping.
But because of racism, Nia was just treated unfairly. She rarely ever got solos in the start of the show. From like season 1 to season 3, she barely got any attention. She was always put down. She was always underestimated, especially when it came down to when they were rehearsing stuff last minute to get maybe new people in there. If they were going to a competition and someone wasn't able to be there, they were auditioning for spots in like group numbers. I remember there was a specific scene where Nia was auditioning for a trio with Chloe because Paige was injured.
My daughter has been there day in and day out. I think a lot of Abby's practices are unfair.
Nia was doing it. She was doing it well. I gave her some corrections.
Kendall has been gone several weeks. She
Right.
just came back. My child has been here throughout.
Holly just doesn't understand. This is strictly about my best chance at winning.
Nia looked fine, but Abby didn't give her any sort of constructive criticism regarding why she didn't make the duet. She quote-unquote said Nia's technique is not as good as Kendall's, but didn't give her any sort of technical issues within the routine that made her seem like she wasn't performing the routine as good as Kendall. That is just one instance, and that all plays into the diversity part in the realm of Dance Moms. Now, if we look later, we are introduced to another POC character, Cameron. Cameron is a very talented dancer. At the time of the show, she was 14. Lots of talent, lots of personality. And when it came down to her being on the team, Abby basically said that she was a snowman, having no personality because Cameron, I guess, was flying under the radar, which I never thought flying under the radar on a competition team was a bad thing. Aren't you supposed to blend in a group? Cameron was also treated pretty terribly by Abby.
Cameron, do you want to be here on this team?
Yeah, I do.
Because I've heard otherwise.
From who?
You don't want to be here. You want to be at home with your friends.
I've never said that.
I certainly don't want anybody here that doesn't want to be here.
No, I want to be here.
Ever since coming here, she hasn't knocked my socks off. I custom tailored this solo to showcase every one of Cameron's skills. But if it doesn't work, how long is she gonna be here? I mean, what's the point?
And I love how they do similar things to black characters. They had similar things happen with Nakia and how she was like saying crap about Kendall and saying how like I deserve to win. I remember like people were complaining when the producers literally edited it to make it seem like Nakia was so shocked when she lost the solo to Kendall.
She reacted the way that she reacted because they called her out for a special award. That was not a look of, oh my God, I'm angry. It was a look of, oh my God, they really called my name. See, Nakia hasn't been on Dance Moms in about 3 years. So she finally got a chance to go back this time and redeem herself because the last time she was there, she did look bad. So this time she goes back and she got a solo. So for them to call her out for a special award after she did her solo is what made her give that shocked reaction like, oh my God. It was not because Kendall won, because her and Kendall were not even competing against each other.
And we all know why this is. It's just irritating that the black characters are the ones that get to brunt of all the anger, which this is not a shocking thing. And I don't like how the producers are so manipulative, especially towards Nia, Cameron, Nakia, or anyone that's a person of color. People of color already have it so rough in the dance community. It is so hard to stand out as an individual of color performing in front of choreographers that are predominantly white and sometimes don't really want to promote any excellence in terms of wanting POC people or minority people to be represented in roles that should be represented for people of color. But it really stinks, especially on Dance Moms, how even in the roles that were given towards minorities were always pushed aside and just treated with such disrespect. This was very, very prevalent in the scene where Nia was playing the role of Rosa Parks, where Abby flat out said,
Don't assume anything. I have no idea who will play Rosa Parks.
Really?
I mean, that doesn't even matter in terms of dancing. It's a character. And of course, like every other minority person of dance in Dance Moms, were able to portray characters better than any of the other girls. But did Abby want to use that? No. But beyond that whole diversity spiel and all, let's get into the girls and how the mistreatment of the dance competition scene literally ruined their passion for dance. Abby's rage can scale from going from 0, being happy, to go all the way to like 1,575. Abby truly felt that with showing her passion in terms of being strict and teaching her girls that perfection was so important for her dancers to succeed and quote unquote it's my name on their back, so they need to be perfect whenever they go out there to competition, to perform, really played a role in a lot of the downfall in terms of them being performers. You could definitely see this especially affect them in the later seasons where you start to see them open up about their terrible experiences, especially with Chloe. I mean, Chloe went through such a hard time with Abby. She got broken down, especially in season 4, because Chloe started to have a pretty good season. She beat Cameron, and I think that really made Abby feel so degraded since Cameron, I guess, was quote unquote technically better than Chloe, which was not even true in the slightest. They're two different dancers. I guess Abby's ideal dancer in terms of choreography and performance didn't win. It made her feel upset with herself because she doesn't want Chloe to represent her brand as her winner, which really stinks. Abby is a businesswoman. She, although is a dance teacher and has provided multiple and countless opportunities for her students, that is undeniable. You cannot deny the high water benchmarks that she places on her dancers that literally make them burn out. Her star pupil, Maddie, was another example about this. She did the exact same thing to Maddie that she did to Brooke. I know Maddie still dances on occasion, definitely not as much anymore, but for the most part, Maddie doesn't really do much dance anymore. And you could tell by the countless amount of interviews, how her response is in terms of how she presents herself on social media, that she just doesn't really enjoy dance as much anymore. And you could see with every single one of the girls, it took them a while for them to gain their confidence back in terms of dance because of the strict guidelines Abby had. Now, I love how the dance competition scene really made dance moms look. And then when I went and started competing, because I actually started competition dance because of Dance Moms. Dance Moms was one of my highest inspirations for me to continue dancing and performing. When I went into these competitions and it was so embarrassing. I did these devil pay walks, coming on the stage with presents. Them judges don't care. They don't even start judging you until you start performing. And all my friends would look at me weirdly and they say, why are you devil pay walking? Like, it doesn't even really matter. And I thought, oh, that's what I've seen on Dance Moms, so I should do it like that, right? No. Like, who does that? It's just weird and wonky. It also plays a role in the fact that dance competitions aren't as serious as people really may think, especially regional competitions. I would go to my regional competition and they're basically just time for you to perform on stage and enjoy yourself. It wasn't about winning a first place overall, because I don't think anybody in my company really cared about winning. We just wanted to have fun with our friends and perform and get better, which I felt like had Abby steered away from
Winning.
her dancers would have had a bigger passion for dance and would have done more things with dance and not have wasted their potential. But she saw it as, I want to capitalize their potential on their technique right now, so I need to push them as hard as they can so they can have that firm foundation so they can be amazing when they go for professional jobs. Problem with that, honey, you burn them out, they're not gonna want to continue when they get out. They're gonna be like, I want to turn 18 and go to college and forget about that I ever did that. Which is literally exactly what happened to Paige.
I love watching people dance, but I got burnt out. I mean, dancing that often just became it became more of a job for me than
having to do it that often, and I feel like also just getting teared down so much. It was like, once I was done with it, it was like, okay, I need to do something different.
I remember some of these competitions that they would go to, the Dance Moms cast basically revealed that these competitions were fake. Not in the sense that they weren't real competitions, but the way that they were presented and the way that they were shown wasn't like a competition. They would perform their routines twice. One would be judged, and then one they would have a cameraman running across the stage filming them as they were performing their routine. Now, who on earth is going to allow that at a dance competition like Tremaine, Masquerade, Rainbow, Nouveau, Jump? Nobody. Nobody. That already kind of proves that Dance Moms
wasn't really as real as we thought it was.
And once I started doing competition dance and taking classes from teachers, it just felt really weird that they didn't want to show more of the convention style of dance. The moms. That, for me, was the root of the problem surrounding Dance Mom. Melissa was just a goody two-shoes, but the thing with her is that she would only be your friend up to a certain point. She would only want to help and advocate for you when it was convenient for her, or if her child wasn't going to be pushed aside instead of being the front, the center, in the middle, which was really just so cutthroat. Because if you really think about it, dance studios never have their mom sitting outside, and if they do, they have like other things that they're doing. I know a lot of it has already been revealed by now that the producers set things up. That to me is the whole scope of Melissa in a nutshell, which I love how the moms try to be so offended, but they literally realize by the third season that Melissa is mainly out for herself, and the fact that they still didn't realize it was just so funny to me. Jill, oh my gosh, she's just Jill is ridiculous in Dance Moms. Like, she's just awful. Especially when it came towards season 5 and season 6. I could not stand Jill. Jill is just disgusting. I don't like her at all. Outside the show, Jill is very sweet and very kind and is like not problematic. But in this show, and how she would almost sabotage her teammate was disgusting. She went and had a private with Gianna with the duet instead of inviting Nia and Kendall to do the duet.
I want to work on the duet with her.
Yeah, you do that for me?
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah. This private that Kendall is having with Gia is about Kendall's personal growth. Really, if Kendall can get a little extra help to be the best she can be, I'll take it.
And honestly, I don't even want to get into this, but you know what? It is worth mentioning. The whole stuff with Bryn and Kendall, I love how it was made to be looked like Ashley was the complete bad guy when it was really Jill. Ashley was bad to an extent, but Jill was horrendous. It was jealousy and envy that was oozing at her. She yelled at Bryn right to her face, and she's like, I didn't yell at her. That is not okay. That is wrong and vile, and I didn't like her. I don't like her. I didn't like her at all. Christy, she's like what I would call the Tasmanian devil. She is loud, outspoken, but in a way that is what needs to be said. Christy always was someone that stood up for everybody in the group. Even though that she knew that Chloe had a lot of opportunities in the early seasons, she still was very much an advocate towards everyone, which is the main difference between Melissa and Jill. Melissa and Jill were kissing Abby's butt, trying to be as nice to her as possible so that their kids could have solos, duets, and trios, and it was just so disgusting. But the way that it made her seem, it made Christy seem like she was loud and obnoxious and someone that just always was looking for confrontation, when really it just, wasn't the case. Kelly basically looked at dance as just a fun little activity. There really wasn't anything wrong with Kelly. Kelly just wanted a positive atmosphere for her girls to perform and dance and have fun in. If anybody got the true spirit of dance, it was Kelly. You have fun with your friends, you enjoy yourself, and you take things a little bit seriously. But it doesn't have to be your entire life, which Kelly wasn't. She was very active in Brooke and Paige's other extracurricular involvements, from Paige's acting and modeling to Brooke's singing. And I really wish that Kelly was not so much at odds with Abby, but of course their whole crazy history and past was just something that just couldn't be avoided, and they were always going to be in some type of confrontation or argument. I mean, it was Abby's fault. Also, I have no idea why I skipped Holly, which is kind of funny because she is the most iconic character of Dance Moms. You cannot argue with me there. It is undeniably true. I watched a video a couple of days ago by the lovely Hariana Hook on YouTube. You guys should totally check her out. She makes a lot of child nostalgic content, and she made a video on Bring It, another competition dance show on Lifetime that was, in a way, kind of a lot better than Dance Moms, but for some reason I'm always that person that just loves Dance Moms no matter what, which is kind of funny that I'm making this video and completely tearing it to shreds. She mainly talked about how Holly couldn't really act up like all the other moms because of, being the angry black girl that was completely showed upon throughout Dance Moms with Nakaya and Kaya's. Now you wonder why Nia was always like the person that kept to herself and never exploited her feelings to anyone. It's because she's black. I don't care what anybody else said on the show about how Holly was always the most quiet just because that's her character. Probably not. She probably had a ton of backbone, but she couldn't do it because she didn't want to be looked at as the angry black woman. Besides that, Holly never really asked for much. She pretty much asked for the bare minimum. A solo every now and then, featured position every now and then. She wasn't even asking to lead the entire team, which I felt like Nia's character portrayal in all of her solos and even the group dances was just by far superior to everyone else's, and in some instances, it was better than Maddie's. I'm sorry, you guys can fight me in the comments, but it is true. Let's move on to the dancing of the show. Oh, wait, what am I saying? Oh my gosh. For Abby pushing and bashing and a show being all about having perfect technique, y'all don't really have technique class. Literally all the time while I'm watching Dance Moms, I'm like, where is y'all's technique class? The faculty at the ALDC is supposed to be a lot of people, but we only see 3 people. We see Abby, Gianna, and James at some point. And in the ALDC LA, it was like you saw like 2 more people that appeared out of nowhere, and then they just shut them off, which was so dumb. Especially during the ALDC LA, they never had class. And it was so fun to me because I'm just like, wouldn't you want to show them taking class, learning and growing in their technique? Because I love how Abby likes to spark at their technique, but I'm like, where's their class? Where are they jumping and kicking and turning and flipping and learning moves? Because Abby would always be like, the level that you're at this age is not what you should be at.
Kind of look at your front foot. It's just laying there. Pick your back foot up, flex it.
Who are you talking about?
Look at her front foot, not doing it.
Okay, she hasn't had a stretch class in how long?
Listen,
That's
why
not
can't
true,
your
ladies.
smart kid do it in the bedroom? Why can't she stretch on her own?
You know what, Abby? You know they have not had a decent stretch class.
That can only do so much. It can keep up with your flexibility. It can keep up with the passion, I guess, because you're pushing yourself to impress your teacher. So maybe you can get some more solos out of it. So I guess maybe you can improve that way. But I don't see the overall improvement. And as a dancer, flexibility takes years. And the fact that Abby thought Mackenzie was going to be able to be doing 8 pirouettes or jump as high as Maddie is just ridiculous, especially when there's such a big height difference with quite a lot of the girls. Comparing them to each other in terms of you need to have higher leaps, you need to be turning faster. I'm just like, everyone is a dancer and Abby is trying to form everyone as one specific, flexible on both sides, perfect turns, someone that's short and petite and can do all genres. I'm like, that's very one-sided of you, and the dance community is a lot more than just small and petite. There's lots of tall people. There's people that are not the perfect body type in terms of dance. People that are a little bit on the thicker side. People that are on the stockier side, like me. People that are a little bit more athletic instead of being long and luscious. And Abby was so dismissive towards a lot of these dancers that didn't fit her ideal dancer type.
Ava, you're too tall for us today. You're cut. Thank you. You can go. Is that clear enough for you?
And it really just stung me, which was so disappointing to see that throughout all the time that Abby was teaching all the girls, it just seemed like there were very few redeeming moments. And every time I would hear the Dance Moms cast be like, there are more good memories than bad memories. I'm like, really? Are you sure? Are you sure? Because based on your children, that's not the case. Every time anyone, even the people that came out of Dance Moms unscathed, talk about Dance Moms, they're not all that eager about it. Exempting the season 8 cast, no one talks about it. And if they do, they either bash it or try to erase it from their memories. All in all, Dance Moms was just a show that really showed how the dance community is so much more than what this show is showing. It was definitely very traumatizing to see a lot of these girls, especially now that I look back on the show, that were just treated so terribly by Abby, and how the whole dance competition cycle really weighed down on them from them experiencing what dance competitions are.
Fun.
I don't think I've ever been to a dance competition where I didn't have a blast. And I think that was missing with Dance Moms, was that they didn't really show dance competitions for what they were. They were having fun with friends, they were training and performing. It was always so serious to the point where you would wonder, like, is this supposed to be a professional production? This is little girls going to dance class and having fun and competing to perform, which I really don't think that they ever once established the habit of making a performance or making a statement. There were very, very few, mainly national routines, that really emphasize passion and performance and just embodying the spirit of dance. Well, my friends, I think that's all that I'm gonna talk about today. If you guys would like a part 2 on this, because I do have a lot more thoughts that I would like to share, and this was quite eclectic in my opinion, and I do apologize for that. Leave them in the comments down below if you want to hear like a specific video on maybe specific girls or specific moms, because I have lots to say on it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see y'all in my next one. Bye!